Hi, Yumiko.
Hello,
Good
welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Very happy
Thank
to
you, and
see
nice
you.
to see you again. And I'm really happy to see this group just happening. You know.
Thank you so much. I cannot tell who you are talking.
Sorry.
Girwacho. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome. Sorry, I wasn't sure who was talking. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I hope all is good.
I'm really so happy for this group being created because it was a vision for a long time. Now it's just becoming real, you know.
Thank you, Girwacho. This is actually a group for the global, and we will be also developing a team for Africa as well, as we have been discussing.
Okay.
Yes, but we are going in parallel. But now I think we have some people joining us. So let us start. A very, very warm welcome to everyone for joining today's event. It's a focus group discussion on Transboundary Water Knowledge Exchange Hub. My name is Yumiko Yasuda. I'm the Senior Network and Transboundary Water Cooperation Specialist, supporting this Transboundary Water theme for the GWP's network, and also the lead faculty for the massive open online course on the governance for transboundary freshwater security. So I would like to give a little background to today's why we are thinking about developing this transboundary water knowledge exchange hub. So as many of you have been joining this MOOC on governance for transboundary water freshwater security, we have been running this course since August 2020. Now we have almost close to 3,000 learners joining this MOOC, and we have done the post-course survey and also survey related to the events. We've also had an online event. Last year we had 9 sessions. This year we just had 1, more to come. And from the survey that we conducted to all these people, 80% of you have said that there's an interest in actually continuing the interaction. These MOOCs and also the session times is very limited. And a lot of you have expressed that you would like to continue in engaging in the conversation. And we've also looked at what exists on the transboundary space. There are platforms out there, but one thing we noticed is that most of the platforms or the websites are rather informational basis on a one-way stream, and it also lacks the space for mutual engagement. And so there was a need for that, to creating a space and to have this kind of direct interactions among the peers. In our transboundary water capacity building we've conducted, and also through the MOOC, we do know that particularly when we are learning about different tools for transboundary water cooperation, it's not that difficult to understand the principles. What is the principle of international water law and so on, but how that actually applies on the ground is a $1 million question. There are so many different ways to apply it. And this is where many of the practitioners and the stakeholders would also want to learn, how did other people do it? So there's definitely a need for more peer-to-peer exchange. And we know that peer-to-peer exchange and learning from each other is a very powerful way for learning. So with this, we have now looking into how we could develop that into actually a toolbox that we actually have created, and we are going to be launching on the Water Day. So today's purpose of this focus group discussion is to better understand the user needs and the content preferences of the potential users of such an interactive site, including the MOOC and GWP network and beyond. And this event will be have the feature on open discussion in the breakouts, where you could share your feedback and preferences with respect to future community. So you can, we want to hear from you, like which topics you're interested in exchanging on, how often would you like to exchange, and what format you would like to exchange, how you think that you want to learn from each other or showcase your own projects. Maybe you might be looking for project partners, networking. What is it that you are looking for if we are to establish such a hub, exchange hub? So after the focus group discussion, we will then summarize the feedback and adjust the concept according. So please stay tuned for further announcement. So if you can go next slide. So today's session will be facilitated by our team here, myself, and we have Elisabetta, we call her Lisa, as a community manager. Tobias, many of you have received emails from Tobias. He's been managing the Transboundary MOOC and also the events. And Milena, who has joined us recently, working as an intern for the Transboundary program. So now I would like to start a little bit from ice-breaking interactive part to get your interests and the needs. And I'm going to hand over to Tobias and Lisa to interact with you. Please.
Thank you, Yumiko, and welcome from my side to all of you as well. So thank you for joining this session. So we'll now start with a more of an interactive, the interactive part of the session. So we've prepared this menti.com tool, and you can, first of all, we can see that some of you have already, pinned their location on the map, so where you're joining from. So I see that a lot of people from Europe are joining, also from North America. We have some people from Africa and also from Asia. So a very diverse crowd here. So please just head to menti.com and type in the code. And I think Milena will also send a link in the chat so that you can join the conversation directly. So let's maybe go to the first question here. So first of all, we want to know whether you are currently part of any transboundary water-related community of practice. So you can just answer with yes or no and hit submit on menti.com. So I can see that like 2/3 are not part of a community yet. So maybe our community will be the place where you want to go in the future. And 1/3, or roughly 1/3, a little bit more than a quarter, are saying that they are currently part of a community. So very interesting. So we'd like to hear more in our discussion later on, whether you or why you want to join a community. So, and if you are part of a community, you can also share the name of the community that you're currently part of. So we also like to know that. So in what community are you currently engaged? So just type in the name, a LinkedIn group. So yeah, thank you. Anybody else? It's also C platform, yeah. Good, good, good to know.
Yeah, I would like to know which the name of the LinkedIn group that you are part of, for example.
So I think nothing else is coming in. There, International Water Law Academy, the Emerging Scholars Initiative. Yeah, interesting. And I also see that some people are typing something in the chat. That's also fine. UNA, USA Global Goals Ambassador. Okay, thank you. So maybe let's just move on. UNEC group on water and climate. Thank you. Let's maybe move on to the next question. So how often would you engage with the community? So for example, post something, like something, or share your work in the community. So would it be on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or would you only use it for specific events? For example, if we have a MOOC event and you want to participate in the discussion or engage in the discussion regarding the MOOC event. So I see we have people who want to post something, engage with us on a weekly basis. So 80%, 83%, 17% even want to use the community on a daily basis. That would be nice, right? That would be amazing. And I see also a couple of people are interested in using this for specific events or projects. Also very, very interesting, so that we can collaborate on a project in the community. That's also good input. So yeah, I think weekly is currently like the majority, 2/3 almost, and then daily, and then some people are just interested in like on an event basis, and also monthly. It's popping up now. So that's pretty encouraging. I think if we would manage to get like a weekly your weekly attention once a week, that would be amazing. It's already pretty good. So thank you for that. So I think we can now move on to the next one. So, and this is like a ranking question. So what are the activities on the community that are most interesting to you or most useful to you personally? So you can just rank the things that you are really interested in. So just put them up, and then you can just follow up with the other stuff. So do you only want to reading the news stream or sharing and promoting events? And now the responses are already coming in. So sharing and promoting events is currently #1, but I think we only had like 1 vote. So now it's moving a little bit. So participating in discussions is now #1. Now it's sharing work-related materials. So responses are coming in fast. That's good. So sharing materials is #1 now, and then participating in the discussion. I think this is also something that we saw in the surveys that we did, so that people are interested in sharing materials related to their projects, but also to the areas that they're working in. Participating in the discussion is also something that is very important and that people like to do. And then we have reading the news stream and networking at 3rd and 4th place. And then on the last place, it's sharing and promoting events and opportunities. So yeah, interesting to know. Thank you for submitting your answers. Now networking is coming up a little bit higher, but I think we have to move on. And we are now coming to the next question. So what kind of materials are you usually looking for online? So is it like project reports, case studies, or academic articles? What is something that you are normally looking for? Research articles, I think. So just type in your answer. Event announcements, also something that's important. Analysis, yeah, that's obviously very important. Case summary of reports, news, yeah, transboundary water-related news. That's something that is also good. Okay, so yeah, great. Communication, yeah, peer-reviewed academic articles. That's also something that people always say. Research papers on a specific topic, yeah. Okay, great, thank you. And now I think we can go to the last question that we have for you now. And I think this is one of the most important ones. So what is your one main expectation from this transboundary community that we are currently building? So just type in a very short answer and tell us what you want to see happening in the community. What is something that you want to see? Why would you? What is a feature that you want to see and that would make you join the community? So expand the network. Spanish. So we will also offer translation, I think. But yeah, it's good to know that there's a need for multiple languages. So. And I think expand the network is something that we've seen a lot in the previous session, as well as in the surveys. Problem solving, sharing better practices, so best practices. That's also very important. The application of water law, something that we've also tried to tackle in our live events. So I think that there's really a need for something like that. Clear agendas. Yeah. So there's more coming in. Community, yeah, building a community is of course very important, and I think this is all related to like building better networks, connecting with others to work on the topic. So yeah, I don't know if there's more coming in. Sustainability, yeah, that's a find project partners. Yeah, something that pops up a lot, I think. And this is also something that we are trying to do. Okay, knowledge. Good. I don't know. I think that's super interesting, and we will definitely come back to this in our breakout discussions. So then maybe you can elaborate a little bit on what you've submitted here, so that we know a little bit better what your expectations actually are for the community, so that we can build it according to your needs. So yeah, Lisa, I think we can now move on to the next part, and maybe I will just hand over to you. And Yumiko.
Thank you very much, Tobias, and thank you everyone for this interactive feedback. Very, very useful and interesting. So going into this concept of transboundary water knowledge exchange hub, which is basically a community on the transboundary water, our key objective that we thought is to really foster learning and exchanges among the global transboundary water community. And from the GWP, since we will be hosting it, we are also aiming to bridge two key digital products that we have, which is the Toolbox that will be launched in a couple of weeks' time, and the MOOC, the Massive Open Online Course on the governance of transboundary freshwater security that we've developed together with many, many partners. And with this, to create an interactive space for knowledge exchange and networking outside of the regular events. So we've been doing the regular events. There's been the discussion forum, but to really bring this together and then to really create a continuous space for the exchanges. We are hoping that by doing this, we can also support and mobilizing the transboundary water practitioners to really translate the knowledge into action, because ultimately that's we are really looking for, that people to really be empowered and to learn from each other, and then in the end that results in the action on the ground. We also aim that this space could become like a one-stop shop for exchanges on recent case studies and experiences. Of course, there are many other platforms that actually has all these learning materials, but the specificity of this particular site that is unique is to really have this more to facilitate the direct exchanges among the participants. So the format that we are using will be on the online utilization of this online discussion space that will be hosted on the global knowledge platform the GWP will be hosting, which is the platform. And then we also have the networking portal. The target audience for this are diverse. Of course, all of you who's participated in the MOOC and also regular events, the GWP's Toolbox users who's working on transboundary issues, the river basin managers, the government officials involved in transboundary water management, academia, the researchers, NGOs, and of course, the youth and water professionals. And the content streams that we are thinking of is to have different streams of the news streams that you can post the news, the events and opportunity streams, also the case study streams, discussion posts, and the networking. Now, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Lisa, who would be able to actually show you how these could look like on the actual platform. Lisa, over to you.
Thanks, Yumiko. So yes, we are coming to more and more interactive parts of this discussion. And let me just share my screen. Do you see it already, Yumiko? Could you confirm? Yes? All right.
Yes,
so
yes.
As you might have heard, the GWP has redesigned and relaunched its flagship knowledge product, which is a GWP Toolbox. And essentially, it's a platform that proposes to water practitioners, professionals, ways to implement IWRM. And in doing so, it has several sections, which reflects the main concepts and approaches that help implementing IWRM in 4 different pillars. That is the tools, so kind of like the toolboxes, and with its tools wouldn't be complete. And then there are some resources that support those approaches. So as you, if you will, kind of academic references that support theoretical approaches. And then there is also different learning opportunities. So for you to kind of get more information on how that those approaches come about and how are people actually using them in implementing their projects. And then in the explore section, you would have a look at what IWRM means in practice with different case studies from all around the world. And the idea is that each tool is supported by case studies. So you get kind of like this side-by-side depiction of, okay, here's a theoretical approach. And at the same time, you could have an overview of how has it been used in practice. So does it transform? Is it actually working, etc. And then exploring different case studies, you could also find some country profiles, and so get an overview what happens within a particular country. But more on that later. And now we're coming to kind of the most important part that we've been discussing. It's the Connect section, where our community would potentially be hosted. And this is the part where users of the platform and also more like wider audience would be networking with each other, sharing opportunities such as events, courses, project proposal calls, calls for submission of abstracts, actually maybe the results of their project that they have been implementing, etc. So, and now little glance on how the sections are organized. So here we're coming to the tools, and you would be able to browse through the tools that are available here below. And so, for example, if we go and have a look on the rights of rivers, you would be transferred to the tool page. And the tool page provides kind of a very comprehensive overview of this particular approach. And then you can have, if you're interested only in a summary, it's right here. And then more in-depth information on this approach is available on click. And then on the right side, you will have different resources and of course the case studies that are supporting this tool. So you could explore kind of like in a very holistic manner how this approach functions. And now finally coming to the case studies. This is a bank of experiences from the ground. And in the new version, we have made sure that they're also categorized. So for example, if you're interested in the transboundary ones, you could filter by a keyword, and then it will show you the most recent experience. You could filter, sort them as well as you'd like. And there is also a comparator function. So imagine you're interested in a particular topic, you pick a case study, you go and have a look at the overview of what has been happening. So here's a background, and then actions taken, outcomes, and lessons learned. So it's kind of all well structured and presents the experience in brief. But then if you're interested in this particular project, you can also go further and see that the tool that has been applied here in this case study on the Koros-Crisore River project in Hungary and Romania. You can go further and actually look through the tool on transboundary organizations, and you will find even more information in there. Alternatively, you can also, of course, search by the organization that was implementing the project. So here's how we kind of like create this knowledge loop so that you can find out also about people who have been working on this project as well, in case they have shared their information on the platform. And now coming to the community side. So we have launched several kind of test or pilot communities, you could say. And the global launch of the whole platform is planned on the World Water Day on the 22nd of March. But before that, we would still invite you to explore the toolbox. And my colleague has posted the link in the chat, I believe. And now precisely about the communities. So it is similar to a LinkedIn group or maybe a Facebook group that you're already familiar with, but it is very specific to our water sector, as the discussions will circle around the particular area that people are engaged in. And in our case, that would be transboundary management. Within the community, you would have several streams, as in content streams. So here we landed on the About page, where the community would be described. What's its goal? What's the aim? What are the members of the community? And also maybe some house rules. And then on the right side in this panel, you could explore the moderators and the members. So it gives you an overview of what it is. And then going further, you would have a sort of typical news stream, which would combine all of the posts that have been happening in the community before. And so you could see that there's, for example, there was a discussion launched by Mathieu. Then there was a resource shared, an opportunity, a course, an event announcement, etc. So this gives you an idea of what kind of posts and discussions there could be. And for each of these, there would be an own specific tab. So in case you're interested to share with your community members an issue for discussion. So for example, there has been a legal development, or a diplomatic development in transboundary management, or there has been a new program announced by GEF or any other bigger organization, and you would like to discuss it. So you would post it in the community, and other people would be able to comment and add their opinions, share their feedback, etc. And same applies for blog posts, but it's kind of a bigger post. It's almost an opinion piece, and it would be possible to reach out to us as moderators for posting these kind of extended overviews, or almost kind of like interviews with high-level speakers, or with the researchers. So there's another content activity. And then we have the events and opportunities. And for events, we have envisaged to share the major events that our members should take note of. And for the opportunities, that would relate mostly to different courses, or maybe extended like trainings or workshops that could bring additional knowledge to you, but over extended period of time. It's not a one-off engagement, but it's rather a more comprehensive approach to the question. And then everything that is shared under materials, you would have under the materials tab, and that could be project documents, presentations from the events. So this could be a very good space also to share post-event materials, PDFs or PowerPoints, etc. And then, of course, you would have an overview of the members in the members tab. And then I hope that most of our members would add their pictures, because I feel like then it becomes a much nicer overview of personal profiles. And then all of these members that we have in the community, they're vital to the networking aspect. And so the networking aspect in the platform is realized through this kind of IWM action network, where you have a map similar to the map that we had in the beginning, where you had to pin your location. And so here your location is pinned as a user of this platform. And you can zoom in and see who is based where. And then look at people's profile and what are they interested in, what kind of stakeholder type they represent. Are they students or are they practitioners, etc. So here's an overview, and you can see that we are lacking some profile pictures, but if you click on the profile, you will get so much more information. So we invite you to explore the platform and to let us know also what are your thoughts about the community idea. I think that's it from my side, and I will be handing over to Yumiko for the next section. Thank you.